Happy New Year, everyone, and welcome to 2025, and welcome to the Drunkard's Path. I hope everybody had a wonderful holiday season, and now you're all ready to get back into your sewing rooms and stitch up whatever your heart desires, and we are here to help with that. So we've got some exciting things coming up in 2025, and make sure you stick around for the second part of this video because it is finally time to unveil the big unveil of the quilt that Pat Moore and I have been working on since last February. So it was a lot of fun. We had a lot of laughs, and now we're ready to show you what we have been working on. So stick around. I want to say the last month or so with the postal strike, it has really impacted the small shops in like probably any area, because we really super relied on Canada Post and we were not able to use that service. So we're really hoping that everybody really thinks about the small businesses in your area, because we would really like you to, jump on our sites or go on into our shops or whatever, and shop local if you can. That would be super great, because I know it's super easy to shop at the big box stores and stuff, but the little shop owners, like we work really hard to try to give you the best possible service that we can. We will really appreciate your patronage for the upcoming year. Again, sorry for the postal strike, and we're ready to go. We can ship globally, across Canada, the world, you name it, we're here. For the next couple weeks, until January the 20th, we're going to have all of our Christmas fabric. We're slash the prices on that. We really want to get that out the door, so we're marking them all down 40%. So get in there and get your Christmas stuff. You're thinking, oh, but Christmas is over. But you know what? There's some quilt-alongs coming up, and if you bought some fabric, some Christmas fabric, and by the end of the 12 months, you're going to have a fully finished quilt and just in time for Christmas, or you just stock up and start sewing your Christmas stuff in later on, maybe in the fall, but at least it's already bought and at a really great price. So have a look at all of our Christmas fabrics on the Drunkard's Path website and start shopping. I want to thank you, everybody that left a comment from our last video, and the winner of the Santa Claus chart is Wendy Bonvie 6807. So Wendy, if you could please send us your a quick email at support@drunkardspath.com, and so you can leave your mailing address, or if you're local enough, then you can maybe come and get it, or we can drop it off. It's not a big deal. So let us know your information, and we will get this out to you. To start off 2025, we thought our giveaway this time, we're going to give 2.5 yards of the spring hair fabric, and it's so pretty, it's so cute. So we have the gray, and we have the multicolored one with the little rabbits and flowers on it. So please leave a comment, like the video, subscribe, and maybe you will be the next winner. We will have a bigger giveaway. We will figure that out as we go along here. We will have it probably in the springtime, the actual draw, but it will start January 1st until our date that we choose down the road for the bigger giveaway. So if you do purchase anything right now, your name will be in for that bigger giveaway. We have to come up with a nice prize, maybe a quilt kit or something along that line, but probably next video I will be announcing that. So new to the shop, we have this really nice quilt kit, which is called Winter Friend, and it's got a snowman surrounded by different types of borders. It's we went with the blue, the winter blue fabrics. You can see through, hopefully you can see through the plastic bag here, but instead of the reds, we went with blues. So I thought it looked more like winter. We didn't really want to go with a Christmas theme. We just go with the winter. So that is up on the shop kit section. So have a look at that. We decided to make some mini bundles. There are 6 fat quarters from different collections we have in the shop. First one is Sunny Side by Camille Ross Kelly. So I'm just going to turn it to the side so you can see the colors that we have. 6 fat quarters there. We have Calico by Lori Holt. To the side there, we have 6 different colors. Harvest Wishes by Deb Strain. There we have the different ones. Right as Rain by Kim Deal. These are some nice deep colors, rich colors. And we have Sunflowers by Lewis and Irene. So this is very summery. These fat quarter bundles are economical to buy in this way. So have a look on the site, and with each bundle, you're going to get a free pattern to make this bag. A drawstring bag using 16 patches on the front and the back. And this is the inside of it. If you go on our site and go to where the mini bundles are, you will see a link for a free pattern to do this drawstring bag, the small drawstring bag. It's an absolutely free pattern, PDF, that you can download and make for yourself. Now that we're in 2025, it's now time to start the 2025 quilt along. So there are a few that I looked up with free patterns for throughout the year. And the first one that I saw was called True Colors. And it's a True Colors quilt along. And that one is, I'm going to put the links down for each one that I'm mentioning. That is Canadian Quilters, I think is where it's from, but again, you'll see it in the link. And that uses solids, so I think they're going to give more information in the next few days on how you get the blocks. So I'm kind of excited to be able to start that one. And the next one we have is called the Bernina Temperature Quilt Along. Again, follow the link and you'll go in there and they actually are showing 20 different solid colored fabrics for this temperature quilt. I don't know if anybody out there has done a temperature quilt, but you just take the temperature, the high and low for each day. So you're going to have 365 small blocks. That sounds like a lot. It's not. I saw what they were doing. You can either do flying geese, or there's another one that's like a sew and flip. So it's probably better to save up for like 7 days or maybe 2 weeks at a time, do them all. But I think I'm going to do 10 different colors with our Kona solids. And if anybody out there wants a kit cut up, let me know and I will cut up a kit for you. And I'll show you on my blog the actual fabrics that I'm going to use for this quilt. But it's really a pretty quilt. I saw the finished one on the Bernina website, and have a look at that link and you're going to see that it's, for something that takes you maybe a few minutes a week, by the end of the year, you're going to have a really super pretty quilt. And the next one is the Riley Blake Designs Quilt Along. And what I'm going to use for that, I have all these fabrics. They're all Kim Deal fabrics. And this one I had left over from a quilt along I did last year. But there was so much fabric left over, I thought that I can easily do this, the Riley Blake one. And they have, I can't remember how many designers have put in 1 or 2 blocks each, and you just go to the link below and have a look, and they'll tell you the fabric requirements, and they actually show you the finished quilt, which they don't normally do that, but they actually show the finish of it, and you can see everything that you need, and it's really pretty. So I don't know what the background I'm going to use for this yet, because it gives you how much. I think it's like 2 3/4 yards or something, but I'm going to get something that will tie all of these ones together for my quilt. And the last one I'm going to do is the Quilting Life by Sherry McConnell. She starts hers the first Monday of the month. So in each Monday thereafter of the month, first Monday is a free block. And this is a fabric I'm going to use, and it's just called, Autumn Beauties. There you go. And this is the fat quarter bundle that I'm going to use for it. I hope it's enough. If not, I'll improvise with something else. But again, I just need a background to go with it. So I'm going to get all my fabric starched up and ready to go. So that's 4 for me. So fun for the year. And it'll be fun to show off our finished quilts at the end. And one more thing to show you. Something that I was working on for the last, 3/4 of the year anyway, is it again incorporates cross stitch with quilting. So what I did was I bought this book from Primrose Cottage, and it was called Monthly Minis. That's what it was called. And I finished it all. I did it on a big piece of fabric, a big piece of linen, and I did each month, and I left enough space so I could cut out. And this is the finished product from the month. So I made little mini pillows. Hopefully not going to fall right off of there. So we got January, February, March, all the way across to December. So I thought they turned out super, super cute. I just love, in November, the little turkeys. They're just something else. And then I just put a different backing, just sewed a border around it, one by one. And I filled them all up with crushed walnut shells. But I got the big bag at the pet store, which is lizard litter, it's called, and it's way cheaper than buying the little individual bags. So I think it was like $20 for a 20-pound bag or something. So that is the place to get any of these small pillows like that you fill in. Now you wouldn't use that in a big pillow because it'd be way too heavy, but for something small like this, definitely have a look, and that's my tip for today. And now it's time to see the big unveil. Welcome to the big reveal. Here's my good friend, Pat Moore, my partner in crime, Laverne and Shirley of the quilting world. I'll only say that because we've had, wow, what a time, eh, Pat?
Well, it was an adventure for sure, using that quilting frame and doing everything, the quilting by hand. All of those hours we spent together. But, it took a long time to get it all done, but didn't it feel like it was fast?
Yeah.
While it was happening.
Yeah.
We'd be at the quilting frame for like an hour and a half or 2 hours, and it just kind of went by.
Yeah, before we knew it. But then we were like, my eyes.
I know. my hands.
Hats off to the ladies of the past, and that's how you did your quilting, because this is a one and done for me. I don't think I'm ever going to, do that for a whole quilt. That's a bit much.
But when it's a quilt pattern from the 1930s, like it really felt like that was doing it justice to do it in that manner.
Yeah. We took let's start from the beginning. My uncle would go to estate sales, and he came across this scrapbook. And this scrapbook belonged to a lady named Isabel Jack. So Pat and I were looking through the book, and she says, we have to do a quilt out of this book. And I'm like, I'm in. So let's find one. So it happened to be the first quilt in this book. Mm-hmm. And we just like, oh, this is perfect, because it had all different blocks, and it was like circa around 1930, 31, 32, something along that line. And it was, actually, go ahead.
Okay, well, I'll hold this up. This is the image that we had for what the finished quilt is supposed to look like based on the pattern, with like the white picket fence border, and each one of these applique flowers finishes at 6-inch square.
Yep. And these are all, each week in the Detroit Free Press, it's called the Flower Garden Quilt. One by one, each week you would cut it out, and then you would replicate and make the block. Mm-hmm. So,
so how many were there?
There were 25 flowers, and then there were 25 in between blocks. Like, what would you call these, Pat?
Well, we divided it up where you did all the flower applique blocks, and I did the in between ones, like for the checkerboard kind of setup between the flowers, and we kind of goofed a little bit right from the beginning, because all we had to work with was this image for what those alternate blocks were between the flower blocks.
Yeah.
And we came to realize much later that it's actually supposed to be just quilted.
Yeah.
So it's the pattern that you're supposed to use for the quilting on those 6-inch blocks, and instead I did it as applique.
Which is funny, because this is our take on this 1930s quilt. Mm-hmm. But before we go any further, we just want to put it out there for Isabel Jack. We know very little about this lady. We do know she was born, you said...
Well, I actually found her headstone where she's buried at Lakeview Cemetery, and it had her, that she was born in 1900, it had her name, Isabel Jack, born in 1900, and she died in the 1980s. So there really wasn't a lot of additional information.
Yeah.
So,
but we're wondering if anybody out there watching this has any information on Isabel. We'd really appreciate any history that we can find, or if we could even contact the family to show them the quilt that we've recreated. They may have the original quilt that Isabel made. Who knows?
Wow. Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah, to have to put them both together. But like we have all the modern. Not technology, but the modern methods, tools to use, like to make this quilt. I cannot imagine how they did it back in the day without these tools, because
the fusible,
the
light
box, the like for tracing. Because we had to trace each one of these, but I had to trace it backwards. Because then you put the fusible on it, and you cut it out, and then you applique it down. No, I appliqued all of my pieces by using a blanket stitch using my domestic machine, and then we hand embroidered around it in the same like a bluish colored thread floss. But it was like a ton of handwork.
Yeah, and it really makes the flowers pop.
Yeah,
right, and it gives that kind of continuity too, right? To this quilt. For the blocks that I did, they were like it was cut out from the fusible, and then I satin stitched each individual petal.
Yeah.
So.
It was a lot of work for both different types of blocks that we made. It was.
We were able to do this quilt together because like we got together right at the beginning and limited the fabric that we were going to use.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So we knew what was going to go with the flowers and what was going to go on the blocks that I was doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. So it kind of. It worked. We were able to work separately, and then when we came together to put it together, it really jived.
Yeah, we're a good team. It was Pat had a nice vision of what the end product was, and I just like, okay, show me. But doing that frame, my gosh, that was something else. That was a real eye opener.
And thank goodness for Jan Dudek for helping us to set it up.
Yeah,
and now that frame is in my basement. And if anyone in the Sarnia Guild wants to, do this hand quilting, I would be very happy to bring it to them and set them up with it, and then they will become the steward of this quilt frame.
No, I'm making it sound bad about hand quilting. It just, like, by the time we got to the end of it, you just kind of, because it took us, I can't even estimate how many hours it actually took to, like, it's just the two of us working on it. We did it, maybe 2 days a week or something.
Yeah.
Then we both got sick, and then we we had to put it, down for a little bit.
And you've got you're looking after your granddaughter, so we're working around that schedule too. And but we were able to do it.
We made it work. Yeah, we have some funny pictures that we kind of took along the way that maybe, I think we did insert. Remember the underneath, because you couldn't see with the borders on this quilt. Is kind of a busy border, so you couldn't really see the quilting, so we had to go underneath it to be able to see what the actual quilting looked like and when we were doing it correct. And so
and we did like rotate the quilt like
on the
a few times to get to have the best access at the bottom for the hand quilting, and in doing that it kind of upset the tension and all that.
But we didn't know.
So we did end up with that fold and that Laverne and Shirley moment where we kind of came up with a way to fix it. Hopefully no one will be able to notice how we did that.
I don't think so. You'd have to look pretty gosh darn close.
It was on one of the corners. There was a little bit excess fabric, shall we say, and we were able to kind of tap that
Pat
down.
used her engineering skills to get that right, and I have to say, like, I challenge anybody to find where that actually happened, because it'd be pretty hard. So so I think we have everything that we had discussed. Now it's time to actually show what we did.
So this quilt finishes at 5 by 5.
5 feet by 5 feet, yeah.
Yeah, 5 feet by 5 feet.
And this is
and there we have
our big finish. So there are 25 individual flowers and 25 in between blocks
filler blocks.
Yeah, and like they're all the same, but you can see the different background fabrics we use for the filler blocks, and the flower blocks all have the same, but each one of these is meticulously cut out. And you can see the embroider on each of the flowers, and this stitch. I think is that the lazy daisy? Is that what you call that?
I don't know.
I learned these embroidery. I had to go to YouTube and see how do you do that. I don't know. But then you got into a rhythm and a groove. So
I think I remember you saying that one was a big challenge for you.
Yeah, because that was block number 1.
Oh, because that was your first.
And I stayed in the order, right?
Okay.
So we can kind of like fold it down and just show maybe the bottom.
And like you can, it's clear the color palette here is like a turquoise and orange, and it like Shelley, with your love of Halloween, like there was no shortage of orange fabric. So we kind of just dipped into all your stash there of Halloween fabric. And then mixed with the turquoise. Like I don't know really how that fits on the color wheel, but I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I do too.
I think it works. And then with this kind of pinkish peach,
kind of a corally color,
border fabric,
which has the teal in it
as well.
It
adds the brightness.
Yeah.
That I think, because it even though like the orange is bright, this color here is bright. Like some of it might seem a little bit more dark.
Yeah. And this also separates like our big wide border, which is dark. If we had just blended this actually has a good separation.
It makes it more gradual. Right.
But you can see all the embroidery, to define. Like I don't know all my flowers, so I can't tell you what that one was. But But you were doing some of the embroidery at the end there with me because
we found that the flower blocks were the ones that were obviously the more
time-consuming
ones. Yeah. So I think you had finished all of them, and it was just the embroidery step.
Yeah.
That's kind of when I stepped in because all mine were done.
So now we'll show you the back because this is Pat's. She did the back, and except for the flowers, we did bigger blocks, 4 bigger blocks. We chose 4 of the flowers, you can see, but they're more of a muted tones.
Yeah, well, originally the vision was that these would be the corner blocks.
Yes,
right?
That's right.
And then we realized it took away from like the middle. You want the eye to like focus right in the middle. Yeah. So then we thought, well, we made them. They're nice blocks. They tie in with the quilt. We'll just throw them on the back.
Yeah, and it worked out perfectly. And this is Pat's. Her great piecing in the back, and I just love the way it turned out. We had all this extra of the coral, and then I made the our label. Or Isabel Jack quilt, that's what we've called it. I did that on the embroidery module on my machine, and then Pat she had it all incorporated it in there pretty good. So
I just see there's a thread there. Okay, I'll have to get that later.
But that's our Isabel Jack quilt, our flower garden quilt.
What did you think of the border quilting? Because it's such a high density quilting there, eh, Shelley? With the diamonds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think it looks sharp. You can really see it.
This side,
you can see it better. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I had a nice lesson on how to do the thing. Pat, she's a little more. She has more experience in doing the hand quilting because hers were nice and tiny little ones. And mine are like the bulky, like kindergarten with the big fat crayons.
Yeah, but they did get better though as it progressed.
Yes, it did. I did.
You did get better. Yeah.
But,
I'd done it a few times before, but never on a quilting frame. Just on my lap.
I see. Okay, so that was a learning thing for you too. So
So Shelley, this was fun.
This. Yeah, it was great.
It was fun. It's a one of a kind, and. Yeah.
And we'll start something else coming up. So anyway.
Exactly.
Thanks, Pat.
Oh. Thank you, Shelley. That was fun.
Yeah.
All right. To the next challenge.
Thank you for watching, and as always, keep sewing, keep stitching.